The Xerte project and the story so far. About 12 years ago, maybe a bit earlier, a brilliant guy named Julian Tenney gave up his lucrative job in the commercial sector and went to work for the University of Nottingham. Julian began some developments that would help him and his team develop Flash-based learning content more quickly. At the time, Flash was the best solution for delivering interactive online content, but the team were looking for a tool that worked much more like the flowline metaphor used in Macromedia Awfulware, an expensive but powerful tool which had been widely used in the team up until that time. Julian developed an engine that used an XML file to define the structure of an interactive project, and an interpreter to execute code and create interactivity. At the time, it took many hours to develop just an hour's worth of effective learning content, so work began on a visual editor for the XML files, which meant projects could be developed much faster, and Julian's team began using the tools for a number of in-house projects. Over time, new features were added, and Julian then presented the work at Alt-C in 2006, when the tools were first released under a free license in the hope that others might find them interesting or useful. The name Xerte was adopted, an acronym for XML Editor and Runtime Engine. It seems there are references to suggest that Xerte also means joyful, or to know in Greek, and regular Xerte users certainly know how joyful it can be to use, especially in comparison to some other tools. The first Xerte community workshop was held at the University of Nottingham in June 2007, and shortly after the university began working with Xerte and myself to begin to build a new layer of the tools that hid the technical authoring environment from users and allowed content to be developed using simple forms. The approach also made it very easy for developers to create new tools for authoring new types of content, and before long the software included nearly 30 templates for presenting different types of media and interactivity. Xerte and the JISC regional support centres began actively promoting the tools. In January 2008, the team began a project known tentatively as Web-based Xerte, and the development of Xerte Online toolkits began. Web 2 technologies made it possible to do things that would have been very difficult just a few years beforehand. The key objective was to hide all the technical complexities from users, who could then develop content just via a web browser and collaborate on projects with other authors, including subject matter experts and media specialists. Thanks to Julian, Pat Lockley, Faye Cross and others within the team at Nottingham, in July 2008, the Xerte project suite of tools were released for the first time under an open source license and made available to the wider community of users and developers. Before the end of 2009, the team received their first taste of recognition after being shortlisted for the Times Education Awards. Xerte opened the Xerte Sandpit, providing a place for potential users to learn about and try the software, and the first version of Xerte Online Toolkits was demonstrated at Alt-C in Leeds, where the team also won the Alt Team of the Year award. Xerte Online Toolkits was also made available to staff and students at the University of Nottingham for the first time, and take-up was rapid. The launch of Xerte Online Toolkits was a huge success. The user and developer communities began to grow very quickly. New external developers joined the community and began to contribute significant pieces of work. JISC funded the Zenith project, a small rapid innovation project that aimed to replace the existing Flash-based runtime with a runtime entirely developed in HTML5. This allowed content to be delivered to devices that didn't support the Flash player, and allowed developers to engage with the project through familiar technologies. At the AGM in 2012, all the new features, including the eagerly anticipated HTML5 playback, were previewed for the first time, as well as an excellent myth-busting talk about accessibility from Alistair McNaught. Xerte Online Toolkits version 2 was released in April 2013, and several incremental releases have been made since then. Reaction to the HTML5 based runtime has been very positive, resulting in wider mobile compatibility, making it easier for developers to create new templates using familiar HTML, JavaScript and CSS technologies. 2013 to 2014 saw continued community growth in the UK and worldwide, and during 2014 the main focus for the team has been the development of a HTML-based editor to replace the existing Flash-based tools, and to put the project on a more sustainable footing given the success of the tools and the growth of the wider developer community. The redevelopment of the editor is a significant piece of work which will allow authoring to be undertaken on devices that can't run the Flash player. For example, authoring rather than just consumption on iPads and other tablets, as well as many other benefits. In September 2014, the project was accepted for incubation with the Apereo Foundation. After looking closely at all the options, it became clear that transitioning stewardship of the project from the University of Nottingham to the Apereo Foundation was in everybody's interest. Progression through incubation has been rapid, and we expect to graduate as a fully fledged Apereo project with the next release of Xerte Online Toolkits, hopefully by May 2015, and a big conference in Baltimore, USA. Apereo represents a fantastic opportunity for the project to grow into new user communities and attract new developers to the team. So what's the key points from this Xerte story, and why might this be relevant to you? Well, firstly, you now know what the name Xerte stands for, both technically and philosophically. You'll also note that from the very beginning the emphasis has been on ease of use for everyone and anyone, yet still offering powerful features and flexibility for specialist developers. Accessibility has been a core focus from the very beginning, and remains so, and sharing, collaboration and community have been fostered and grown throughout. Going forward, the Xerte project remains an initiative to provide high quality, free software to educators all over the world, and to build a global community of users and developers around our tools. The Xerte project continues to place three values above all else: ease of use for non-technical content authors, providing best-of-breed accessibility, and nurturing a positive and friendly community of users and developers worldwide.